My sister Miranda actually was diagnosed with breast cancer just after her second child was born. It was very advanced, and thankfully she did get through that. However, she was tested and she was BRCA1 positive, as in she had that gene mutation. Many years later, I got cancer. Now that cancer I had nothing to do with the BRCA gene. But what was interesting after that is they'd heard my sister had the mutation and they decided to get me tested, and I also had the mutation. Knowing that you're BRCA positive, that you have a mutation that you may have passed on to the kids, is one of the most terrible feelings to have. For me, it was utter guilt, and I thought, what a legacy that is to give. But then, that's the negatives. We live in a day and an age that means we can actually test for this, and because of the work of Jnetics and what they've done with this incredible work with the NHS and with CHI, it is amazing to see that we can take some of the sting out of this terrible news by potentially able to look at, okay, if it is the news we don't want to hear, there are options. We now have effectively tools that we can use to reduce the effects, to reduce the impact of this. And so actually, although it's a terrible gift, into where we are today in the history of genetics testing, with what Jnetics has done, enables us to actually do something about it. It's the old forewarned is forearmed, and we're definitely forearmed now. When the reality of the envelope landed from the NHS and we knew that the results of Yasmin's testing were in there, we were all steeling ourselves. It took her about a week to open the envelope, and we were standing round with her, and it was very silent as she opened it, and we're all looking at her face, waiting to see if we'd have a clue. Suddenly she burst into tears, and she didn't have the mutation. And we all burst into tears. It was relief. It was total and utter relief. And we've got to go through it again with Isabella and then with Benjamin, but one step at a time. For me, screening is so important. Everyone has the BRCA1 gene, but we need to find out those in our community that have the mutation. And as we know, unfortunately, the percentage in our community is high. But that ability to know that you have the gene and then to take appropriate action is an incredibly powerful tool and knowledge to use to take the right steps to look after yourself and your family as best you can for the future.